Did it taste like home, perhaps? What in the fuck, Sui Ishida? Like, so we have confirmation. I mean, it's been pretty much said for a while now, but we have 110% confirmation. We even got to see a little glimpse of it, of Takizawa devouring his family. I'm kind of curious exactly how many of them, but pretty much his parents, he ate them, and we got confirmation now. So fucked up. It's like, try explaining this shit to a person that doesn't read manga. They're gonna think you're even weirder than they already think you are for reading manga to begin with. Like, oh yeah, so this character, he was a good guy, but he turned crazy, and they brainwashed him into eating his parents, and then like, yeah. So a lot has happened in the past 3 or 4 chapters of Tokyo Ghoul since I talked about it last. For starters, we had the Yonabayashi versus Uri fight, which seemingly is a mixture of Uri was starting to come to his senses. You could definitely see he has a lot of resentment towards Heist and, you know, Sasuke Heist or Kaneki, whatever you want to call him, because he left them all the responsibility. Also, I'm sure he's bitter at the fact that he betrayed them, and he, you know, he's not rocking with them anymore. So you could definitely see a lot of that was built up in him. It's kind of hypocritical in a way because Uri was always talking about wanting to surpass him and be better than him. I guess he grew out of that in a way, so you could argue that, well, people change, you know, he eventually grew out of that, but nevertheless the resentment was in there, and ultimately he was somewhat able to come to his senses, but then they also sedated him, and there was some controversy, let's talk real quickly, regarding Yonabayashi's Kagune and how she was able to morph it into hands, and people were saying this is some shonen BS. When I first saw it, I'm not gonna lie, it did kind of remind me of like shonen shit, just being honest, but I think Tokyo Ghoul has always done a great job of giving you the cool shit you like from shonen battle manga, but also being dark and very meaningful like seinen. So I don't get why people are acting like this is some brand new type of shit. On top of that, it's always been mentioned, I think even in the beginning of Re, that you're able to morph your Kagune the more skilled you are. It might have even been mentioned in Ghoul, if I'm not mistaken, but this has always been a thing. Tokyo Ghoul in general has always felt like a fine line between what you love from a battle series, but also being very intelligent, very dark, and having its own meanings and all that good shit. So that's Tokyo Ghoul. That's why a lot of people fell in love with it to begin with. Is like, I don't see why people are saying this is shonen now. Like, it's been that way, bro. It's been that way. This is Tokyo Ghoul, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's fucking awesome. I thought it was okay. I mean, seeing Yonabayashi actually go in and, you know, sedating Uri, which we got a lot of love recently. Like, let's talk about that real quick. Yonabayashi telling Uri, it's because I love you now. That could be interpreted in many different ways. It could be a brother-sisterly love. It could be that she really wants to get in Uri's pants. I'm gonna lean more towards she loves him in a brotherly, sisterly, Nakama teammate type of way, because it's a lowly and a big no. Then let's talk about another big controversial thing that people were burning their volumes over, which I still think that's so fucking childish and stupid, but yeah, we already talked about that in another video. Apparently, Mutsuki got tricked into fucking the shit out of and beating the shit and killing and stabbing and maiming and all sorts of crazy shit, which we already know that chick is batshit crazy, that dude, whatever you want to call her. I always say chick because that's just me. It's not a personal thing. It's just, hey, that chick, whatever. But essentially, she thought it was Heist, she thought it was Kaneki, but ultimately it was seemingly Uta that tricked her, but essentially it backfired. So as of right now, I don't know if Uta is dead, because if that is truly Uta, then yeah, he kind of just got killed by Mutsuki, but I refuse to believe that that's how Uta went down. So maybe it was initially Uta, he put on that face, and then she just went into hysteria and he managed to swap it out with another person, or maybe that's not even a person there to begin with. I'm kind of, because I just don't see Uta going down like that. Like right now, to me, it's unknown if Uta's dead, because what she did, stabbing the fucking, like, you see the body there just completely destroyed. It's like, are we really gonna lose Uta like that? Like, I don't, I mean, it's possible, but either way, the whole outrage about it too. Like, because essentially, she revealed she loved Heist. She loved Sasuke. She really loved him, Sensei, you know, all that good shit, which nothing wrong with that. I think she always had some admiration. Maybe it's a little bit of the craziness inside of her that took over as well, and that's why she just wanted to fuck the shit out of him and kill him at the same time, which is Well, yeah, Mutsuki, she's definitely the most interesting of all the Qs we've seen. I mean, the new ones I don't even really care for. Like I've said before, I don't care about Higamaru, and I don't give a fuck about them just being 100. Like, Shirazu was dope. He was hilarious. Uri, he turned into a really cool character. Started off as a piece of shit, and I really hated him. If you've been watching my Ghoul videos for years, you know I hated Uri. I wanted him to get destroyed. Now, he's cool. I enjoy him. Yonabayashi, she's alright. I like the little secret power shit when she goes crazy or whatever. But Mutsuki was very interesting. I mean, already you have that interesting dynamic of like her having these problems, these identity crises, this gender issue that she wants to be this, but you know, there's a reason why she wants to be this, but she's also this, and it's like, not commenting on that, by the way, before people, oh, you're a hater. No, I'm just stating the facts of what we've seen in the manga thus far. Is like, she's always been already a kind of interesting character, but then when you add the fact that she's a nut job and kills people, and then you see that, I'm like, well, I don't know why people are outraged. She deserves better. Shut the fuck up. That was a crazy scene, and it was awesome. It was like, yo, this character's out of her fucking mind. Like, yeah, Tumblr people. Then, something that really interests me, Takizawa's character. Tokyo Ghoul Re, when we first ran into Takizawa, you just thought, this is a broken man. He's crazy. He's out of his mind. But when we get the flashback, and I believe it's chapter 115, it starts to really make me question what was his character, because in that flashback we see at that point when he's talking to Amon, he pretty much had already eaten his parents, I'm assuming, because he kind of like was like, oh, it's there's no point, there is no going, you know, back, I'm already too far gone. But he was still Takizawa. He wasn't the crazy owl that he ultimately became. So what is the difference between that point to when we actually seen him and he was just completely bugged out of his mind? Was it more torture that just completely made him crazy? Because at that point, he was already tortured, he already ate his parents, but he was still sane. Was he putting on a show just for himself, not even for the other people, just to make himself get just lost in the fact that, holy shit, I ate my fucking parents, there really is no turning back, I'm a creature now, I'm a ghoul, I'm not even human anymore. So there's that possibility as well, that he was just putting on a front for himself. He was getting himself lost in the insanity, and that's why there's a huge difference from the Takizawa in that flashback where he's talking to Amon through the wall to the very first chapters of Tokyo Ghoul Re that we actually seen him, which I've been very fascinated by Takizawa throughout Tokyo Ghoul Re, his insanity, his reasoning, his backstory of what happened to him after he got captured. There's just been so many interesting things about the character, and to find out that he was still sane in there, so he might have been sane this entire time, to be honest with you. There's a huge possibility that when he was killing the inspectors and going crazy and saying all this insane shit, he was probably sane and doing it on purpose just because. It's like, it's fascinating, and I love characters like that. Very multi-dimensional, very interesting, and it's nice to dive into his head. Although, to be fair, diving into Takizawa's head, that's a scary thought. Also nice to see the return, because it's always been a great theme or great different thing that Tokyo Ghoul has had, the relationship between Kaneki and Amon, how Kaneki wanted to save him, and ultimately it was like, yo, you changed me. And so it was nice to see that predicament he was in of like, damn, yo, I want to save him, and to see that actually Takizawa did it. And Takizawa, he almost looked like, this is the first time in Re he looked peaceful, and that was because he was knocked the fuck out on the floor, and he actually looked somewhat normal. So it was nice to see that in that line. I think it was something like, let's go home now, or some shit. Like, I like that line. And overall, it's also interesting to see Crone, I think it's Krona, like, Krona, to see her actually standing there looking at them. It's like, maybe tragedy isn't our only option. And you know, there was a great line that I'm gonna look up real quick, and then I'll talk about it. When you realize your own future has gone to shit, all you have left is to live for someone else. And that is probably the best way to describe people like Takizawa, people like Amon and Kaneki, and all these tragic people in Tokyo Ghoul in general. Is like, yeah, there's no way Kaneki can ever go back to just being that normal kid anymore. He can't even, you know, work at the shop. He's very known, so there's no turning back for him. Amon, he'll never be an inspector again. Takizawa, he'll never be an inspector again. He'll always be a fugitive, for that matter. There's no turning back. So what can you do for your future but help the people that you truly care about? And that's why he went to such great lengths to even save Amon. The fact that, yeah, Mato, you know, Akira, she would like that. You know, I want to make her happy at the very least. So it's great that that's a testament to his character and many other of the tragic people in Tokyo Ghoul, and it's a lot of solidifying, not necessarily in a bottle, bottling it up in one message, but ultimately giving a nice broad statement to the people that have been through hell in Tokyo Ghoul and they don't really have bright futures anymore. What can they do? And then Mr. Washu, that kind of caught me off guard at the end of 115, taking a sword right through the fucking head. I'm like, okay, and there could totally be a million jokes I could say in there. Fuck it. I'm sure everyone has already said any good joke out there about it. Ultimately, I'm kind of curious because I don't think he's going to go out that way at all. That's too simple for this guy that has such incredible ambition. We're probably going to find out that he's somehow Ghoul as well. It kind of goes par for the course anyway with some of the Washu. Maybe he's had it in his genes this entire time. And it's interesting because as much hate as the CCG and Prejudice, for that matter, have against the ghouls, a lot of them have slowly turned out to be in some way or another either ghouls or related. Even Arima, which Arima already, of course, knew what he was, but ultimately a lot of these people are slowly turning out to be, oh, they were ghouls all along. So I'm kind of curious if that's a social commentary to a certain degree, in a way, on self-hatred. That's kind of interesting there. So definitely he's not out the game at all. Washu, that's not happening. It's going to be interesting to see where it goes from there, if he knew he was a ghoul all along, or will Suishida really kill him off? No, that's not happening. And overall, Tokyo Ghoul, as always, don't need to say, it's been awesome. The art could definitely be a little bit less ambiguous. Sometimes I do get lost with the art just a bit. I know that's a big complaint a lot of people have, but I do sometimes get a little bit like, oh, it's kind of unclear with this and that. So yeah, that's really my only main complaint with everything, because aside from that, it's like, yo, we got rape, death, fucking just madness. Kind of curious what you guys think about a lot of this though. First of all, what do you think about Yonebayashi's confession of love to Uri? How do you feel about him going down? How do you feel about his resentment towards Kaneki for leaving him all this burden, or Sasaki Heist? Also, what do you feel about the outrage of, seemingly Mutsuki getting tricked into fucking and killing Uta? Do you think Uta's really dead, or he did something at the last minute, or you think that just backfired on him trying to put Kaneki's face on? And what do you think about Washu's death seemingly at the end of the latest chapter? Do you think that has any bearing, or he's gonna just completely be a ghoul after that, like he was a ghoul all along and didn't know it, or he did know it? And what do you think about Sato or Takizawa's life and what he's become? Do you think that he was actually sane when he was doing all those things in Tokyo Ghoul Re in the beginning, and he was just trying to get lost in it, or what's up with that? And your overall thoughts of everything Tokyo Ghoul Re thus far. But that's all I have for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. If you liked anything I had to say or enjoyed the video, drop me a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. And if you want more from me, make sure to subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and stalk my Facebook to get more when the video ends. I'm Funeverworld, and as always, people, have an awesome day.